Built in 1964, the Queen of New Westminster is one of 4 ships BC Ferries has contracted Chinese shipbuilder CMI Weihai Shipyards to replace. A decision that has upset some people, including the Federal Minister of Transportation. In a letter to BC Transportation Minister Mike Farnworth, Chrystia Freeland says she is dismayed that BC Ferries would select a Chinese state-owned shipyard given the current geopolitical climate and recent tariffs from China.
CommonSenseLoonie, that's my tune, bringing truth to the red and white moon.
Personally, I am a man.
Hey Canada, it's Rex with CommonSenseLoonie. We're diving into the stories legacy media sidesteps from coast to coast, with a fresh angle and a call for answers. Today, we're exposing a $2 billion BC Ferries deal with China that's raising red flags, unpacking a dangerous militia plot in Quebec, questioning Quebec's bold immigration pause, tackling drone smuggling in our prisons, and showing pride for the Blue Jays despite their streak-ending loss. Buckle up. Let's get loony. BC Ferries China deal. Our first story comes from the Epoch Times. MPs vote to review BC Ferries' Chinese contract, call CEOs and ministers to testify. The Federal Transport Committee has voted to study BC Ferries' decision to hire a Chinese state-owned shipyard to build 4 new ferries for its passenger fleet, in a deal that was financed by a $1 billion contribution from the Canada Infrastructure Bank. BC Ferries, our taxpayer-backed lifeline between Vancouver and Victoria, just inked a $2 billion deal with a Chinese state-owned shipyard to build 4 new vessels. China. Yes, the same country slapping tariffs on our canola and pork while we hand them our cash. Not to mention, as covered in earlier videos, China's influence over Canada is growing at an exponential rate. This isn't just about ships. It's about jobs, security, and Canada's backbone. Let's break down the red alerts. Red alert number 1. Jobs shipped out. BC Ferries chose China Merchants Industry Weihai Shipyards, tied to the Chinese Communist Party, claiming it's $1.2 billion cheaper than European bids. But here's the kicker. A $1 billion low-interest loan from the Canada Infrastructure Bank. Your tax dollars fund this. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre calls it a betrayal, pointing out Canadian shipyards like Seaspan got no shot. Why wasn't BC's Made in BC shipbuilding plan a priority? Red alert number 2. Security risks. These ferries are critical infrastructure. China Merchants Group has military ties, and experts warn their ships could hide tech for spying or sabotage. BC Ferries says they'll install IT systems here in Canada. But can we trust their oversight when China's laws demand firms aid their intelligence? Red alert number 3. Hypocrisy. Canada's in a trade war with China, yet we're funneling them billions? Federal Transport Minister Chrystia Freeland called the deal disappointing, but her government's bank approved the loan. Poilievre is demanding answers. Why are we funding a regime hurting our economy? This deal is a gut punch to Canadian workers and security. Ex-users are livid, calling it a disgrace. The first ferry is not due until 2029, but the damage is now. So, what do you think? Should BC Ferries cancel this deal and prioritize Canadian jobs, even if it costs more? How can we ensure that our critical infrastructure isn't compromised by foreign powers? Quebec militia plot. Our next story is out of the Associated Press. Canadian police arrest 4 in an alleged anti-government militia plot. Canadian police arrested and charged 4 people, including 2 active members of Canada's military, who were allegedly involved in a plot to forcibly take possession of land in the Quebec City region. Royal Canadian Mounted Police said in a statement that 3 of the suspects took concrete actions to facilitate terrorist activity. Here's a rundown of the events that led to their arrest. Back in 2021, 4 men in Quebec City, Marc-Aurèle Chabot, Raphaël Lagacé, Simon Anger-Audet, and Matthew Forbes, plotted an anti-government militia to seize land and defy Ottawa. Their plan? A new society free from Canada's rules. But their own mistakes brought them down. 2 were active Canadian Forces corporals at CFB Valcartier. 1, a former soldier, and another, a former Air Cadets instructor. They trained in secret, practicing ambushes and survival skills, amassing 83 firearms, 16 explosives, and 11,000 rounds of ammo. Lagacé's anti-gun control posts on social media and their private Instagram flaunted their rage, fueled by distrust of authority. Authorities cite ideologically motivated violent extremism, possibly inspired by far-right militia ideas. Chabot's rants against Trudeau hinted at a personal vendetta. By 2023, a colleague's tip and their sloppy social media alerted the RCMP. After 2 years of surveillance, raids in 2024 uncovered their arsenal, and on July 8, 2025, they were arrested facing terrorism charges. This plot exposes cracks in our military, where extremism can hide in plain sight. Their loose lips and digital trail saved us. But what else is brewing? How can Canadian forces better screen for extremist views among recruits? And should social media platforms do more to flag dangerous groups like this? Quebec's immigration pause. Immigrants in limbo after Quebec suspends pathway to permanent residence with little notice. Quebec's hitting pause on part of its immigration system, suspending the Quebec Experience program for temporary workers until November 2025, and halting new family sponsorships for spouses and adult children until June 2026. But this isn't about shutting doors. It's about keeping Quebec strong. Canada took in nearly 500,000 immigrants in 2024, with Quebec approving 16,500 family sponsorships in 2022. That strains housing, healthcare, and schools in a province of 9 million. Quebec's cap of 13,000 sponsorships through 2026 and PEQ pause aim to ease backlogs and protect resources. It's a model for provinces like Ontario, where housing costs are crushing. Quebec's also safeguarding its French-speaking identity, prioritizing immigrants who integrate. Ex-posts show Canadians are worried about strained services, and Quebec's listening, balancing economic growth with stability. Critics say it's harsh, leaving some in limbo, but tough calls are needed when systems are maxed out. Other provinces should take note. Smart immigration means clear limit and local priorities. Quebec's proving it's not no, it's just not yet. So, do you think Quebec's immigration pause is a smart move, or does it go too far? Should other provinces adopt similar limits to manage growth? Drone smuggling in prisons.
And what changes have you noticed over 20 years?
It's, well, I'll say most of the changes have happened probably the last 10. It's a very different environment now. When I started, when my wife and I were early in our careers, you know, our big form of contraband inside was with tobacco, was cigarettes.
Right.
Now that's been replaced probably with the same frequency as tobacco back in those days with meth and some of the harder drugs now.
Amazing.
Some of the changes going on are just the amount of narcotics, the degree of the seriousness of the narcotics, and of course the violence that comes along with that.
Right.
The violence is a whole different level that we've ever seen.
Give me put it into context for me. How bad is the violence?
It's a good question to how to put it into context. It's what was a rare occasion for the majority of memorable time in federal prisons is now a daily occurrence.
Yeah.
Whether it's inmate on inmate or whether it's inmate on staff.
From the Western Standard, prison union head reveals to Polivé drones dropping drugs, weapons into prisons at an alarming rate. Drones are smuggling drugs and weapons into Canadian prisons at an alarming rate, and it's chaos behind bars. On July 10th, 2025, a correctional services union head, in talks with Pierre Polivé, exposed this crisis. Sophisticated drones drop contraband, think drugs, even knives, right into prison yards or cells, exploiting uncontrolled airspace. This fuels violence in illegal economies, endangering staff and inmates. The Western Standard reports a lack of accountability worsens it, leaving guards outmatched. The UK faces similar issues, but Canada's crisis is hitting critical. Without drone jamming tech or tougher security, our prisons are powder kegs. Polivé is pushing for action, and ex-users are sounding the alarm, demanding solutions. This isn't just a prison problem. It's a safety failure we can't ignore. What do you think? What tech or policies should Canada adopt to stop drone smuggling in prisons? Are Canadian prisons underfunded, or is this leadership failure? Blue Jays pride. Blue Jays fans, it's been a wild ride. Last night, Toronto's 10-game win streak ended with a tough loss to the Chicago White Sox, but we're still proud of our boys in blue. With 54 wins before the All-Star break, a franchise record, the Jays are leading in the AL East. Jose Berrios fought hard on the mound, and our defense, among the league's best, delivered slick plays all over the field. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Alejandro Kirk are swinging with confidence, ready to shine at the All-Star game in Atlanta on July 15th. With smart base running, elite defense, and low strikeouts, this squad's got Canada buzzing. We're optimistic for a strong second half, so keep the faith and go Jays go. How about it, Canada? Can the Blue Jays continue to dominate the rest of the season? Who's your pick for the team's MVP this season? Well, that's it for CommonSenseLoonie. From BC's risky fair deal to Quebec's militia bust, immigration pauses, and prison drone chaos, we're asking the questions legacy media won't. Drop your thoughts on these stories in the comments. Let's keep the conversation loony. Until next time, stay sharp, stay skeptical, and of course, stay loony.
I'm here to cut through the haze, no disguise. Gonna open your eyes to politicians' lies. Canada's great, but led by wackos, it's true. Time for no nonsense, me and you. I'm the Common Sense Looney, hear my call. Ditch bingo night games, we'll fix it all. Common Sense Looney, that's my tune. Bringing truth to the red and white moon.
Personally, I am a man.